Our friend Matt Farah went to Valencia, Spain, and drove GT3s, the new 992.2 Touring, and one with a wing. Matt Farah, back from Valencia, Spain.
Yes.
With a gorgeous tan. Look at how brown your skin is. So
wow. Yeah, you're so brown and have this last name that is of a place.
I don't even know where Valencia, Spain is. Is that a nice... I've been to Mallorca.
Sure, all of Spain is
I've been to Barcelona.
Yes, it's in that area.
It's in that area. Was it nice and warm?
Yes.
What a great trip.
Beautiful. It was beautiful.
And Porsche pays for you to go drive these cars, and you're here today.
Yeah, they fly you out there and put you up. It's a very fast trip. I was on the ground in Spain for 34 hours. Mm-hmm. And, you get a little bit of racetrack time and some road driving time and access to the engineers. Andy Preuninger was there.
You called me right away and said, I'm driving these cars. I have news. And I said, well, can you please come to the show and tell us everything that you know about these cars? What did you learn about these cars? Here's what he had to say about it on Instagram.
The question is, can you feel any of these changes if you don't have an earlier car to drive back to back? And have they stepped on ST owners' feet by bringing this new car to market like they did with the original GT3 Touring and 911R? All right, so the Touring with Lichtbau is the streetiest version of the GT3. But now it's time for the big boy stuff. Porsche has got us a racetrack, and now it's time to use it. It's fast.
There you go.
There you go. I mean, so many things.
The thing, here's the one I'm most interested in as a new ST owner and as about to be a touring owner as well.
Did you already talk about the ST on your show yet? Have you done that one?
We have.
Okay. It's the best, right?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's the best.
I hadn't driven it. I finally drove it this past week.
Yeah, it's the best. And
I posted something on Instagram and people were a little confused about it. I said, I hate to say this, but this is the one.
Yeah, of course.
For right now, this is the one. And everybody said, why do you hate to say it? And I said, I hate to say that because they didn't make enough of them for the rest of you Porsche folks to experience something so great. But that aside, this thing is really fabulous. And then, but your call shook me a little bit because the previous version of the Touring, we had it. We got rid of it quickly. It didn't work for us. It was a GT3 without a wing, and that's all. That was the only distinction I could find with that car next to the regular GT3 with the wing.
I would say that's accurate.
Okay.
Yes.
This new Touring, what did you think?
Well, first off, Porsche will insist that just like the last one, the setups are the same. The dynamics are the same between the two cars. Okay. Trim for trim, right? But you can get a back seat now in the Touring, which is great. Their new bucket seat folds forward. Wow. And now that does not mean that it adjusts. It has one position.
Correct.
But you can fold it forward to put stuff behind it.
Well, you have to put the people in the back seat. They have to be able to get in.
Right. And if not the back seat, like the RS has no trunk, and so but it has this big space behind the seats that's otherwise stupidly useless. So like a hinged seat is a good idea, and that's a good seat actually. So you've got that. You then have the what they'll say is they've quote developed the shocks. I think they have a tune on the shocks that is closer to the ST. It's not all the way, and crucially, the area where the regular GT3 Touring is annoyingly bad to me, going straight on bad roads, that's where it's like the worst to me. If you're on a great mountain road, the old GT3 Touring or regular were fantastic. They were great. Yeah, I drove it back to back with the ST.
Yeah. And
on that windy road, you could make an argument for the Touring over the ST in some ways, but on the 405 freeway, you could not.
Rough. That's the moment I decided to sell that car, was coming back from Irvine.
Right. Have you driven the ST in that situation
yet? Yeah.
Right?
Just
road
today.
Trip car.
Yeah.
One finger, straight,
unbelievable,
relaxed, comfortable.
Yeah.
Right?
And the very first Touring that we had also.
So that is the one thing, because we were in Spain where the roads are awesome.
Yes. But but I'm confused. Is there a distinction that you're making between the Touring and the Wing GT3?
No. So Porsche says there isn't one, and I drove.
But what are you saying?
There isn't one that I could find between the Touring and the Wing. I think both of the .2s get the improved shock tuning that is developed from the ST. What Porsche loves to do is release a limited car like the ST. And then certain people within Porsche get very annoyed at the flipper market and do everything they can to tank it by making the next full production car as close as they possibly can, like the 911R and the first GT3 Touring.
Right. But it's not, that's part of it, but they also like
I've had conversations with people that are incredibly angry that of the flip market. And
look,
STs
I'm not doubting you.
Within the
It's absolutely true. Yeah. It's absolutely true. That's one reason. But they also put new technology into their top dog GT cars that then filters down to their regular cars. And
that
other
is true,
cars, so.
Such as the shock tuning and other things.
Right,
but
I'm just saying they're not necessarily
stuff bits as well.
They're not just trying to kill the secondary market by itself. They're also just doing what they normally do.
No, they're not trying to kill it by itself, but part of developing the next GT3 and making it as close as they can to feeling like the ST, that you can get that experience, and it does, as a side benefit, knock some of that back.
Okay, next question. You've driven an ST?
A lot. I've driven I did almost 1,200 miles on the press car.
Do you feel is there a distinction between the new Touring .2 and the ST, and what is it?
It's the ST revs like a liter bike. It has the lightest, nastiest flywheel, and because of that, it has that very unique clutch arrangement, and it has that very unique chattery sound, and that it also does not have rear steer, which affects how it drives. The .2, the engine, they've changed a few things. It's still the same sort of 500. It's 503 horsepower. It's a little less torque than before. The problem with continuing to make this high-strung, naturally aspirated car is the continuing movement of emissions regulations, which are good. Emissions regulations are good. We have to, even as car enthusiasts, we kind of have to accept this, right? And it's important. And so the car doesn't make any more horsepower than the 2011 GT3 RS 4.0 made. So we're going on 15 years of this car makes 500 horsepower, basically. And they really can't do more than that and still have the car pass the regulations. This new car has a completely new emission system with more CATs and DPF filters, but America doesn't have DPF filters. But the power is the same for the US and Europe. It has different CATs for the US, but the back pressure and therefore the horsepower is the same. So it's impressive that they can make this car the same power level and make it up to 44% more fewer emissions. That's awesome. That's engineering at work. And a lot of the performance gains of the last 15 or 20 years have been a sidebar of the search for better emissions, twin turbocharging, direct injection, things like that. And they've shortened the gear ratios 8% compared to the previous GT3 to offset the slight reduction in torque. So the 0 to 60, the quarter mile are quicker in the new car in both the PDK and the 6-speed than before. The top speed is a little bit lower, but who's
measuring that, right?
Maybe somebody on the Nürburgring, maybe that matters, although it's probably faster around the Nürburgring as well.
Did you catch Andy talking about how he was going to try to set records with a manual gearbox now?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they did.
We've had enough with the PDK. Let's try it with a manual. I totally get that. I mean, that first version of the GT3 992 I drove with a manual gearbox, I could feel myself slowing that car down.
Sure.
And with this ST, with those gears, you're like, all right, this is better. This is faster. Yeah. I feel like I could have a little more fun, and it doesn't feel stupid mated to this engine. Right?
Yeah,
and
that car's about as fast as you'd ever want to go with a stick, right?
Oh, it's so high. But it's just the feeling it gave me. It's like any of these cars, you just love every drive. So, and here's another thing I noticed about it. It's tuned slightly differently than the press car was.
Yeah.
I remember the press car that I drove feeling a little more muscular and it felt like it was tuned slightly differently. And
this
thing,
the hot rod tune?
In the press car, maybe I'm just imagining it. There is about 10 months of difference between driving that and getting this car, but this car felt a lot more like the 911R.
Oh, interesting.
Like just like 10% this way, and it made it just click for me.
I might have to have a quick go in that.
Sure.
The press car I drove had a lot of miles on it.
Yeah.
And everyone who drove it like it was the only time they'll ever get to drive it. And so I it was the clutch was like on its way out. And, and I didn't care. I was having such a great time. Who cares? But I would like to see what for just 5 minutes to see what a really fresh one is like.
Well, top line. Did you love these cars?
Yeah. The new GT3 is great. If you liked the last one, you're really going to like this one. If you didn't like the last one because it was too stiff and darty, like you and I both agreed on.
Yeah.
The new one is an improvement on that, with the asterisk being that I haven't gotten to drive it on the exact same road. Like, the roads in Spain were very smooth. So it wasn't an oranges to oranges experience. And I thought, we drove the Touring with a stick, lightweight, the Lichtbau Touring with a stick on the road. And then I drove the GT3 Weissach with PDK on the track, which of course that's how they would set that up. Right. And you mentioned about the stick slowing you down. And I'm pretty good at driving. Like, sure. I'm not qualifying for law, but I'm a pretty good driver. Mm-hmm. I love driving manual gearbox. Like, my footwork is good, whatever. Right. And I didn't get a chance to drive the stick on the track, so I can't. But you got to shift pretty fast to drive fast in the GT3. It's got a lightweight flywheel, especially these new cars, and your footwork's got to be on point. And I think that if I was on the track, I enjoyed myself with the stick more, as always. On the track, if I was really doing track work, I probably would get the PDK. Mm-hmm. But I went out with Jörg Bergmeister. Have you met Jörg?
Yeah, he's been on the show.
Oh, he has? Okay, good.
He has.
He's the best. He's so funny. He helps develop the cars, and he's a phenomenal driver.
Did he scare the hell out of you?
No, he doesn't scare me. But he went out in a stick one with me, and his shifting and his footwork was unbelievable, and the speed that he would change gears was crazy, and what he would do, his racetrack was about 10 meters wider than my racetrack. It was my first time there, so I'm not going to push this borrowed car, right. But like, he was, he's all
just
the way
sliding
out.
around.
Oh, it was great. He's good fun, and and Andy was there. And can I tell you something that's a little sad? They wouldn't give Andy an ST allocation. He had money. They wouldn't give
How did I get one?
I don't know, but that's the fact that any other human did and not him is a tragedy.
I sent him such a nice note just to thank him for making that car. I just said, this thing is outstanding. Andy's work gets better and better. Yeah. He's going to be here in a few weeks. He's actually coming on the show.
He's the best. I was the first person to get to the hotel in Spain.
Yeah. But he's got plenty of stuff to drive.
Oh, he does. And and even though he can't buy stuff, Porsche keeps these cars, and he can go.
He gets a company car.
Can drive them. He can drive them. And so it's fine. But I was like, Andy, the ST. We sat down and had beers and for 20 minutes, and we're talking about how great, because I hadn't seen him since I drove it. Yeah. And I go, what color's yours? And he was like, oh, no, they won't get me an allocation. And I was so offended that they wouldn't give him an allocation for one. Sad. Somebody out there.
I have to ask him, though, what he's, for that guy, imagine everything that to have everything he's designed. How do you pick which you would, the ST should definitely be one of those cars, but he can't buy everything that he designs.
A couple of years ago, they were celebrating Andy, and they brought his 5 favorite GT cars to the PEC. Right. They let me drive them in a row. Yeah. The GT3 RS 4-liter is still just
the 4.0, right?
Just the 2011 car. Porsche has them that he drives around.
So as long as he's tight with a company, he can drive everything in the collection. If I were him, I'd be taking stuff out of the museum. I'd be just like, what can I got my card. What can I take out?
I think anything. I drove that 959 out of the museum. Oh, the only thing, can I do one more before you go to an ad? And then we can forget the GT3 for a while. I want to tell you something very important.
Well, let me do an ad first, and we'll keep talking about it.
When we come back after these ads, more on the one reason you might not want to buy the new GT3 cliffhanger.
Oh, good. But right now we're going to talk about taxes. And there are many tax changes coming this year, and income tax brackets are expected to be adjusted for inflation. While the exact figures have not been finalized, taxpayers can generally anticipate slight increases in the income thresholds for each bracket. But you don't have to sort through these changes on your own if you owe back taxes like Matt Farah or have unfiled returns like Matt Farah. He hates paying taxes. Do not wait for that IRS letter to act like Matt Farah. Waiting to get caught makes you look like a tax evader, and it will not end well. Get ahead of it this year with a smart move.
This is libelous.
never contact the IRS alone. We're Justin Baldini all of a sudden and Blake Lively. No, get it over to Tax Network USA. Why? Because not all tax resolution companies are the same. First, Tax Network USA has a strong relationship with the IRS. Second, they have preferred direct line to the IRS. Why is that important? Because they know which agents to deal with and which to avoid. Never deal with Luke at the IRS. You don't want to talk to Luke. And third, their genius strategies are designed to quickly settle your tax problems in your favor, whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million. Their attorneys and negotiators have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt. Stop looking over your shoulder and put your IRS troubles behind you. Tax Network USA visited the set a couple days ago.
Oh, yeah?
Run by a McLaren guy. Yeah.
All right.
Big fans. They said we're the only show they didn't vet. This is Spike's Car Radio. We're in.
That's okay. They're rich. They're fine.
They're geniuses, I tell you. No, the guy's he's legit collector. His collection is hilarious.
Cool.
Anyway, here we go. Call Tax Network USA at 1-800-958-1000. Visit tnusa.com/spike911 and have them save your life tax-wise. All right, the cliffhanger was...
A point of parliamentary procedure.
Yes.
Do we have an IRS anymore? By the time the show goes live,
we may not
actually
that
have
would be
an
cool.
IRS.
That would be cool.
Cliffhanger. Here's the cliffhanger. You know how for like years people have been talking about cars like this one, you got to get this one because it's the last naturally aspirated V8 because
right.
it's going turbo. Or
right.
This is going to be the last stick shift or the last whatever, right? A lot of lasts. The 992.1 GT3 and its range, the ST and the RS, are the last GTs produced without ADAS.
Mm-hmm.
The new car has ADAS as per European regulations. Even the GT3s, even the RSs.
For those who don't know what ADAS is, explain.
Advanced driver's aid systems. A lot of new cars have them.
Yes.
Right? But a lot of the analog sports cars that we love do not.
For good reason.
If you're buying a 911 GT3, you probably care about driving enough that you don't need lane keep assist, etc. So what that means in Europe, there's nothing anyone can do about it. In America, I don't know. I think somebody somewhere will probably develop an aftermarket to make it go away.
Yeah.
What it means in practice is every time you start the car, you turn it on, you press one of the hard buttons on the dash that brings up a menu, and you have to click 1, 2, 3, 4 taps across the touchscreen to turn the stuff off.
Yeah.
Every time you start the car.
Well, I'm doing that in the ST to turn stuff on. Blip and all that stuff.
You do that every time you start the car?
Yeah. There's a lot. I have so many problems with a lot of technology in the car, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, I wrestle
doing that to turn the auto blip off.
Turn it on.
To turn it on. Oh,
yeah.
I see.
And whatever, small price to pay. But getting back to wrestling cars, like you're so right about those driver's aids. I feel like who's driving this car? Like I'll get a little too close to the center line and it jumps back and I'm like, will you leave me alone?
Yeah.
I want to be here.
Yes.
I want to be here. And then if I can't turn that off, that's a problem.
With respect to the science, I respect science, right? And there's a lot of research and ADAS systems, the widespread implementation, of ADAS systems has reduced accidents.
Right.
Great. That's good. And I guess people need this stuff. Mm-hmm. But morally, as a society, the fact that people have driver's licenses and that we need something called lane keep assist.
Well, it's not
very basic.
Look, it's about the fact that people are on their phones.
Of course.
They're on their phones. They're drifting out of lanes. It's a lot of times as gig drivers, and I get it. That's a tough job. but they're
yeah, I mean,
they're
that's
driving
part of it,
around
too.
like this. Where's the next? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a bit of a problem right now in LA. Every time I'm almost killed, it's somebody like this with 1,000 Uber signs on and stuff on their windshield, and it's just they got to figure out a better system where they don't have to be so glued to their phone. Let's take a look at this ST that just went up at PCAR Market. Look at this car to check in with values. This is Auratium Green.
Is that a sold? Is that a sale?
This is a sale.
It says final bid.
Yeah, I guess
That's a sale, though, right?
I guess. I don't know how PCAR Market, but that's a pretty high final bid. But you're right. Yeah,
Scroll down to the bottom and see if it actually says like sold or if it just says like high bid.
Wait. I think it might be there in the comments, but either way, it's establishing a value.
Yeah, no, that's
whether
not
it's sold or
sold.
not.
Yeah, not sold. High bid 676.
Wow, what did they want?
I bet
That's-
they wanted
that's-
7. I bet they wanted 750.
That's wild.
Yeah,
But that's a pretty healthy number at 676. Jesus.
it is a healthy number at 676. I bet you that color, which while it is a good time for me, is not for everybody. If it was a more traditional color,
Right.
they might have gotten a good.
Well, that's
number.
bad news for me because I just spec'd out a 718 Spider RS in this color.
you?
I absolutely love this car.
I said it's a good time for me. I like this color, but
It's the greatest.
It's a cool color.
Yeah, I did it kind of based on that Seinfeld. Remember that car? He had a 4-cam Speedster, in Auratium Green.
I do not, but it's
Pull
rad.
up here. Search for this car real quick. Auratium Green Speedster Seinfeld. Watch it comes up.
Yeah, there it is. The internet
Yeah,
makes
that
it
top one.
easy
Hit
to
that.
find
There
those.
it is. Yeah, there it is.
It does look great on
They
that
call
Speedster.
it. This is this car right here that was involved in the lawsuit. It's the lawsuit spec.
Right, yeah.
So that's why I did it to memorialize this car, which is one of the most beautiful cars in the world.
Did you put something fun in the door sill to like reference the lawsuit?
No.
You got to get a Porsche
No.
exclusive door sill illuminated.
Yeah. We love this car. We thought it was the most beautiful car we'd ever seen. Unfortunately, someone had built it in their garage before Mr. Seinfeld took possession of it. But I wanted to honor that whole story because this car really is spectacular looking. It's really beautiful. And it's fake, but still.
Yeah, but a Spider RS in that color is sick.
It's going to be sick. And I just thought I would birth that into the world. And, if we take delivery of it, we do. If not.
Did you drive the Spider RS?
I love it.
It was
absolutely
awesome.
love it.
Yeah, it's a fun car.
I just thought moving forward, it'd be nice to bring this into the world. But I'll tell you what I do have, the new Polestar 3 behind me.
In a good color.
Let's take a look at that. And here it is, the new Polestar 3. Now, in all fairness, I can't really review this because they just dropped it off 5 minutes ago.
Oh.
It just came to the driveway. They were going to bring it by at around noon today. And I said, if you bring it earlier, I'll bring it to set and we can at least have a look at it. It's a 517 horsepower electric that weighs in at a somewhat heavy 5,700 pounds.
We all need to recalibrate what heavy means, I think.
It can charge 10% to 80% on a 250 kilowatt charger pretty quick, which isn't so bad. It will have LiDAR mid-2025, and it's going to cost you, this first edition, $86,300. That's the first edition. That's expensive, right?
First edition.
That's the first
You
edition.
gotta have it. It's very important that you buy the very first version of a brand new electric car.
Yeah. Well, I think right now, for obvious reasons, people don't want to be in Teslas. So, I said send it over and I'll let my wife drive it because she's a massive Model Y fan and she's not an Elon Musk fan and she's looking for an alternative when that lease is up.
Does she have one of those bumper stickers that says like, I bought it before I knew he sucks?
I offered to get it.
Yeah.
And she said, no, that's a stupid joke. I thought it was really funny too, Matt. I thought
it's like a please don't key my shit fucking defense weapon.
But here, I've been thinking about it. The Cybertruck guys are getting flipped off.
Of course, rightly
Because
so.
you don't, they're sparse. Like every once in a while you see them. The Model Y, there are too many of them in California to flip off. You'd just be like this, flip, fuck you. It wouldn't work. So I think she's okay there. I think she's all right. But I offered every version of that bumper sticker. She said, I don't want a bumper sticker. I said, we can make it a magnet. And she said, no, she didn't care. Okay. She just said, I love that car. And it breaks my heart. Anyway, this
bad.
car is one of those alternatives. Now, they say it has Porsche-like driving dynamics, drives a ton lighter than it is. I can tell you in the short drive here, it does. It feels super light, feels Volvo-y inside, has that minimalist interior. I can tell you right now, there was not a lot of intuitive design controls. Like I haven't figured out how to get the back open. I haven't figured out. There's no buttons or anything. I see I'm using that little, hey, show that key right there. See that little key on the door? That's the key, and it's a rechargeable key that you have to put on the wireless charger pad.
How often?
I don't know. I didn't get really briefed on it. And I'm going to assume that there's an app I can use on my phone at some point, but with these press cars, you can't.
They always have good seats.
Yeah.
These guys.
Here, you take that charger thing and you put it on the door handle, not on the column like a Tesla. And then you have to put it, if you look on the dash there where the wireless charger is, Cameron, you put it right there in the center and then everything talks to each other and then you can drive. But I just mean, you know how like when you get in a car for the first time, when the guy drops it off, they want to tell you everything about it. And I always stop them. And I said, I just want to see if I can find everything myself, how intuitive everything is.
That's a great reason to not have to have those conversations with those people.
It's not. No, I love talking to those guys. I really do. But I like a car to have intuitive design. I want to reach for something. I want everything to be there. Because those first moments are really when you decide, you know, do I love this thing?
That's an American cultural thing. Americans expect everything to be very intuitive.
Yeah.
Whereas other cultures, like particularly the Japanese,
they want to dig in the manual.
Yeah, they expect to read the whole manual.
That's great. That's not me.
Me either. I expect intuitive also.
I'm going to assume, look at it next to that GT2 RS. Look at those two things together. Pretty cool. Look how much bigger it is.
Well, it's 5 people.
Look at that GT2 RS. God damn it. That's a great car. Those are great cars. No. Stay on the Polestar. Oh, the GT2 RS, though. Look at that thing. With those yellow brake calipers. No. The Polestar. Sorry. We're here to talk about the Polestar. Anyway, there's a really funny small issue with it. Like I had it on the highway super fast. It's really, really fast and luxurious electric car. And yellow brake calipers on this guy too. I'm
golden.
Once I learn how to use it, I'm gonna love it. I can tell. It's a little expensive, but I'm gonna love it, and I think it's a viable alternative as long as Polestar stays in business.
It's like a competitor to the electric Macan, really, in price
for sure. Yeah. And you're not gonna see a lot of these on the road, but. See, you know how I like everything symmetrical, and when I sit down in that driver's seat and look forward, I want everything to kind of make sense.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a problem there. Do you want to see if you can find it? You should be able to see it very quickly.
Do I have to turn the car on?
No.
Okay.
If you just sit down, put your hands on the steering wheel and look forward, tell me if you think, here goes Matt Farah, is his beautiful red shoes. All right. Yeah, hold that. Okay, now put your hands on the steering wheel and look forward at the mini screen in front of you with respect to the dashboard. You're not looking at the screen right above the steering wheel, right there.
Oh.
Right above, look at right where your hands are.
Yeah, this screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see how everything looks crooked?
Yeah.
like you need to put your hands on that mini screen and push it to the left.
Yeah. Well,
Matt is saying yes, he's agreeing. We can't quite hear him, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's the reason you would either put a screen into the dash inlay right there, right where that orange line is, so it would look symmetrical and make sense. But what you end up having there is this screen that go ahead, see if you can center it right there. Look at it's tilted to the right.
So
it looks cockeyed.
I think the screen is level to the ground and the dash goes the other way, creating a visual effect that once you see, you can't unsee.
You can't unsee it.
The kind of thing that I bet if you put a level on top of that screen, I bet it's perfectly level. But because it's surrounded by stuff that, like the projector hole for the heads-up display, it sort of draws your eye the other direction, and that dash droops down to the left. So the distance between the dash and the screen on the right and the left side are different. So
I kept taking my hands and trying to go like this and try to make it straight. I wouldn't be able to drive this car long with like I can't. Like anybody who knows me will know, like I send cars back to the tire guy. I send it back to the alignment guys or the mechanic just to make sure the steering wheel is perfectly straight as much as I can on straight roads. Because if it's like this,
it'll drive you nuts.
And like you say, if you notice it, and then I'm gone. Yeah. Then I start obsessing and I have a problem with it. That said, there are probably a lot of people who don't care about it, but I do.
If you're not that type of person, you probably wouldn't notice this. But if you are that type of person, you can't unsee it.
Well, there you have it, the new Polestar 3. Let's talk about Huel. It's not a protein shake, it's a meal. Meet Huel, today's sponsor. That's Huel, the global complete nutritional brand trusted by over 400 million people. 400 million, Matt. Their Black Edition, ready to drink, is a total game changer. A complete meal in a bottle that's high in protein, low in sugar, and packed with all the nutrients your body needs to feel and perform at its best. And right now, new customers can try it for 15% off, plus a free gift using my exclusive offer at Huel.com/Spike911. For me, heading out the door to play tennis is chaos, Matt Farah, which is why I grab one of these things, these Black Editions. I'm out the door in minutes. Sometimes I'm playing 4 hours of tennis in a day, right in a row.
Bragging about that?
Well, just in case you thought I had cancer, and that's why I was so thin. When old guys get thin.
Yeah, that's when you got to worry.
Are you okay? And I'm not okay, but... No, I play in the morning, early morning, and then I play at the end of the day at night.
I pound 2 Huels in the morning. Then I have 7 Huels.
You know what I do for a living, right? I'm a writer.
Yeah, I know.
So we can make our own schedule. I can procrastinate till 8 o'clock at night and then work till 2 in the morning.
I've seen Californication. I know.
Anyway, Huel is a perfectly balanced meal. It's for your most inconvenient meals. They taste so good. And my personal favorite is the Black Edition ready to drink. Even Cameron's in on it. And guess what? Guess what happened? Jack Ferriston came into the TV room after his lacrosse game and said, "Where's that bag of Huel?" And I said, "Oh, Cameron's got it." He went, "God damn it!"
Too late. All mine.
Anyway, that's 15% off plus a free gift for new customers with my exclusive Huel.com/Spike911. That's Huel.com/Spike911. Just go there, use the code, unlock a healthier, easier way to eat with Huel. Nutritionally complete meals in minutes so you can focus on what really matters. There you go. So much more to talk about.
We stored Huel's Cybertruck.
What's that?
We stored Huel's wrapped Cybertruck for a month. And it was the big black Huel truck.
You have Huel too on your show?
No. At the shop, I stored their Cybertruck.
Oh, they had a
Cybertruck?
Cybertruck
that I stored for a month.
Zuckerman has one too for his law firm.
The rainbow one, right?
Yeah. That was hilarious. I wonder where that is. You can't sell them. You can't get rid of them. You're stuck with them.
The fucking swastikars. What are you going to do?
About 1 million people, I would say, sent me a story on the Timepiece Gentleman. Here it is. An update on our friend.
The most ethical watch dealer in all of Los Angeles.
Hello, sir. I'm the Timepiece Gentleman, and now I'm going to federal prison for 6 years.
Is that what he got? 6?
That's what he got. And I can't get it. You know, I followed the Timepiece Gentleman's story. Anthony Farah is his name. I'd like to have this guy in the show when he comes out because he seems like, I don't know. I thought he was a bit sorry for what he did. And I thought maybe the court would go easy on him. Like with all the things that kind of happen in the world these days, the Timepiece Gentleman's going to jail for 6 years.
Right. The crimes he did, the problem is they were too small. If you do big enough crimes, you can just do them.
I disagree, sir.
I think you can.
So
I'm pretty sure you can just
there was a guy
buy anything.
Here's why I'm saying this, because there was someone that I was dealing with when I was selling a home at one point. I can't really say more than that.
Okay.
But about a year later, the guy was arrested. Mm-hmm. And he was arrested for financial crimes, some sort of stock fraud of some kind to the tune of, and I think it was against the elderly.
That's bad.
Whether they were non-existent stocks, I don't know. He was caught $30 million.
Oof.
And, I looked into that and talked to someone. I said, what's going on with this guy? He fled to Canada, by the way. Took off. He was really sketchy when he came by the house, too. Super sketchy guy.
Oh, I think
smoking a cigarette. He had yellow teeth.
Story. Yeah.
He's like, yeah. And I was like, boy, whatever. But anyways, I was like, when this guy gets caught, what happens to him? And they said, white collar crime, 30 million really doesn't get on anybody's radar.
Yeah.
30 million.
Yeah.
Now here's the Timepiece Gentleman.
Yeah.
At what? What does it say how much money he stole? 5.6.
Yeah. See?
So
imagine if he stole $1 billion, he would be appointed chairman of the board. You know what I mean?
I think it's kind of unfair that he's going away for this long. Maybe it was just the fact that this was promoted so much. Maybe the judge was a timepiece collector himself and wanted the community.
Yeah.
And make no mistakes, I'm not forgiving what this guy has done. And he's definitely a thief. And he stole a lot of good people's money. And it's a story we've heard with cars. I'm kind of bumping on the fact that he goes to prison for 6 years. And like the guy who stole 30 million is fine.
Chilling. Yeah.
What the hell?
Listen, maybe the judge wanted the new GMT. And this guy goes, you can have it, but you have to buy 2 28 millimeter ladies watches with emeralds and rubies today. And then I can get you one in like a couple of weeks. And then he didn't come through with the GMT.
I wonder when you get out and when you're doing federal time. Does it say down toward the bottom when he's be eligible to sell watches again? He'll be back in business in 3 years. Yeah. The so-called Timepiece Gentleman.
The new Timepiece Gentleman.
I think he should have been sentenced for 6 years for that name.
For the Timepiece Gentleman?
It's such a dumb name.
Listen,
it's
things that we think that are dumb enable other people to bilk millions of dollars.
But it's 2024. It's like the Timepiece Gentleman feels like something out of a Dickens novel.
Well, maybe he can write one while he's in the can.
You could bring that to the Timepiece Gentleman. Cheerio.
He could write
I'll do that.
A great American crime novel.
Yeah.
The Timepiece Gentleman from jail.
Well, also in the news.
See ya, Anthony.
And Johnny Lieberman was just there. The ice race is going on. And here's some pictures on Instagram. Check this out. Have you been to this yet?
No, I really want to go.
This is our friend Ferdy Porsche's event. That's Porsche sponsored. Ferdy's been on the show before. And this is in Austria, up in the mountains. Zell MC. Mm-hmm. And what they do is they look at these pictures. Oh, man.
Radwood is present. I really like that. That's a lovely Subaru rally car right there. I'll take all of that.
Go back to the beginning there. I just look at, you can always tell that these shots, just stay there for 1 sec. You can always tell how cold it is by how crispy the photos are.
Right.
Look at how crispy that picture is there.
You've been to the Alps, right?
I have not. No.
Dude, you are missing out.
I've been to Reseda and the Hollywood Hills.
You need to go to Switzerland, Austria, the Dolomites. Like, you need to just go drive.
Wow.
It is the most amazing, the light is pure, really like high contrast. It's literally like turning on like HDR light.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Wow.
The cloud cover creates these amazing shapes.
My only issue is that white stuff everywhere. Like what's it like in the summer? Is
green.
It nice? It's
beautiful.
Just green and beautiful.
Green and beautiful. Yeah.
Look at these guys with their pants. I'm a little offended by their pants.
This is the kind of part of the world you have to
but can regular people go to this? Yes. Or is this just a rich guy event?
You could buy a ticket to this. As a spectator?
Yeah.
You could buy a ticket to that. 100%.
Because it kind of looks like it's just a bunch of billionaires with their cars flitting about.
Well, that's who they're taking pictures of.
Right.
There's like regular people like outside the thing.
These guys look like they should be selling energy drinks somewhere.
I don't know what that picture's about. We're looking from far away. But it's some guys in like actual like neon.
Yeah.
Neon pink, neon yellow, neon purple.
And then and then go to the picture where they're dragging people around. I would also want to be one of these ski guys being dragged by a car.
Fun. Yeah.
No,
there is an actual name for that sport.
Yeah.
They'll do it behind horses. They'll do it behind like snowmobiles, and they'll do it behind cars.
Just get on this shot. This looks like a Zuckerman case waiting to happen. Yeah. You were doing what? I would like to be dragged behind a car on skis.
Fun. Yeah,
I would enjoy
rally
that.
Porsche 911 and dragging like a skier around the ice track.
I would want it to be a Volkswagen Beetle, like with spiky tires.
Yeah,
not the car that guy's hooked up to. I don't want to go that fast, but I'd like to go. I think that would be fun.
This whole event is like, it's like the most Instagrammable thing possible. Yeah. Like, have you ever seen like video of the cars going around the track?
No.
They're sideways and they're spraying up snow, but they're going like 12 miles an hour. You know, so it's
it's kind of hard to. That's what I mean. That speed doesn't. I actually have seen videos, and it doesn't look all that exciting. Right. Those shots,
but with a Leica M6, you know, you've got your perfect 50 millimeter Carl Zeiss lens and your Leica M6.
Yeah.
And you set the shutter speed to a 30th, and you pan, and then you get that spray shot with the blurred background for the gram, like that with the Audi S2.
That's cool. I agree. The photography is much better. Than the video.
And I bet being in the car is super, super fun. It's just like, you know, slow.
Well, we'll find out. Johnny's going to come back. I think next week he'll be on the show and he can tell us everything that he ate.
I would like to go. Some manufacturer, bring me. Let's do this. I saw a Myers Manx there on the ice. Maybe
I know.
Maybe when I take delivery of my Manx, we can.
Well, Ferdy's always reaching out and inviting us. He's really nice about that.
Well, there's inviting and then there's inviting, if you know what I mean.
Well, I'm sure Lieberman did not pay for himself to go there.
But I want to send a vehicle.
Who sent Lieberman? Do we know?
No idea.
Because he was hanging out with Ferdy. But every shot that people would send me of Johnny there was him just eating or imbibing or
maybe there's a story. Maybe it's a Motor Trend story. I don't know. I want to go with my Myers Manx though and drive on the ice leg in my
that would be
Manx
cool
when I get it. But to do that, I might have to put it on Air Manx and send it over there.
Mercedes set a new record for most expensive car sold at an auction. Here it is right here. The Mercedes Streamliner fetches 51 million euros at auction. A streamlined Mercedes race by Formula One greats Sterling Moss and Juan Manuel Fangio in 1955 set a record for a Grand Prix car on Saturday. For a Grand Prix car. Selling at auction for 51 million euros, which is $53 million. Look at that.
Do you know this car? I do know it. And actually, when I went to Pebble Beach this past year, it was sitting in the lobby of my hotel in promotion for this. It's an absolutely stunning car. It's really, really cool looking.
Is there a picture of the car?
That's a terrible article that only shows the driver's eye view. Yeah, it's a silver Mercedes SLR, but it's a single seater rather than the two seater you've probably seen. And I'm not surprised it got all the money.
Here it is.
These 50s Mercedes.
In the New York Times. Wow.
Yeah.
That is sloopy.
It looked awesome in the lobby of the hotel.
Look at that. That profile is unreal.
So
all right,
sick.
Now we got something.
You have to be ready to go for a drive by yourself because you can't bring anybody with you.
I wonder what it's like to drive. What does this have for an engine in it?
I think it's a V8.
W196R.
Yeah.
1954.
It looks gorgeous. And that the stuff of that era, the last year before they pulled out of racing for 30 years or 40 years is very, very valuable stuff. The $110 million most expensive car ever sold was also a Mercedes of this era.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
There
I'm actually surprised this one went for less.
Let's talk about RaceDeck. Our friends at RaceDeck began over 2 decades ago. They invented a cost-effective, durable, and truly do-it-yourself modular flooring system engineered for the garage. RaceDeck's multi-patented design allows for easy, do-it-yourself installation without all the hassles and mess of toxic epoxy coatings, transforming your garage in just hours, not days. Jorgen Mahler is the founder. He's a Porsche nut. His wife was out selling dance floors, and he said, let's remake Porsche guys' garages with this stuff. And RaceDeck was born. 170 employees, 150,000 square foot manufacturing facility in Salt Lake City, Utah, and hundreds of millions of feet around the world. RaceDeck can handle vehicle rolling loads in excess of 80,000 pounds, doesn't chip, peel, or stain. Over 33 patents with the product line, 20 styles, and countless even more color options. I'm hearing rumors RaceDeck is coming to the Spike's Car Radio set soon. And you can love RaceDeck too. Shop at racedeck.com. Use code SPIKE911 for 15% off and free shipping. Racedeck.com. Code SPIKE911, 15% off and free shipping. And I love my RaceDeck floor and my hangar in Santa Monica. And as you know, I lay in it a lot. It's the only floor I've had in there that doesn't shift like a giant coaster like this thing. It doesn't do that. It lays on the floor and it fixed all of my problems at that hangar.
I cannot perform with my wife unless we are doing it on the race deck.
We're not doing Blue Chew this week.
Oh shit! Oops. Wrong
Hey, are you selling your Bentley?
Yeah.
What? So you got this car? You bought it from your neighbor, yes. I think. The man passed away.
Yes.
You fixed it up.
Yes.
It wasn't. You got so much enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
And you finally got it sorted and right.
Yeah.
And then I open up Instagram and it says you're selling it.
Yeah. Well, okay. So
what happened?
Nothing. Nothing happened. The game was that we found the Bentley right as the lease on our daily driver Ford Mach-E was up.
Okay.
And so rather than replacing the Mach-E, I said, well, what if we just buy this Bentley, get it sorted, and daily drive it for a year?
Okay.
And let's see what happens. And
what happened?
No commitment. Everything and nothing. It's an old British car and it had sat for a little bit. So I had to spend money to get stuff fixed. And then over the year, some other stuff broke and I had to have it fixed, but it never left us stranded. It never, we never had to scramble to find other plans or call a flatbed or anything like that.
What was the moment you decided to sell it? There's always a moment where you go, all right, it's time.
I mean, look, that car, when you're really daily driving something, really daily,
yeah,
you learn about it pretty quick. And these sort of old luxury cars, I've had a couple of them, and they're about a year of interesting each. If you know what I mean? I had an R129.
I know exactly what you mean.
Exactly.
I know exactly
right?
what you mean.
Yeah. And so,
and that's really good, by the way.
Yes.
A year of interesting is really good.
Yeah.
There are so many cars that are 2 weeks of interesting.
Yeah.
Some of them are right behind me here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's press cars. There's expensive exotic press cars that I get and I forget about the instant they're gone.
Yeah, yeah. There's I'm trying to think of different examples of that. My German Volkswagen police Beetle was 4 years of interesting because my kids were small.
Right.
Which, if I hadn't had kids around, would have been 2 weeks of interesting. It would have been, I'm going to drive it a few times, going to go to a Cars and Coffee, I'm going to make people laugh, then I'm going to get rid of this thing.
Yeah.
And there are so many cars, Zuckerman bought that new original Range Rover, right?
Yeah.
Really beautiful example.
Yeah.
Really beautiful. We can't tell if it's going to be 2 weeks of interesting or 2 years of interesting, right?
I'm interested to find out how that one goes. Old luxury SUVs.
Yeah.
Same problem.
Yeah, yeah. But it's a funny little phrase that you've just coined here.
Yeah.
How many weeks of interesting is a car? You could really dig in on this.
You could. And you should.
Because there were so many cars beautiful old Jaguars, right? The E-Type back there. One of the most beautiful cars I've ever seen. I mean, you get in it, you look around, every inch of that car is gorgeous and desirable when you look at it.
Yeah, yeah.
But how many weeks of interesting is
driving
that?
So to date,
that's
literally
so
daily drive, that is the closest thing we had to a regular car. So, but also part of the game was I would not defer maintenance. So if something broke, I had to fix it properly.
Okay.
And that's part of the cost. And then I have a record of it, whatever. So anyway, but it was not a commitment. If I loved at the end of the year, if I thought this was 2 years of interesting, I'd have kept going. But frankly, as we got into December, I started to really miss having an electric car.
Right.
For every day.
Yep.
Loved an electric car. And also I learned something about you and I and a lot of other car enthusiasts, you drive something that's brand new.
Mm-hmm.
You drive something that's 5 years old. You drive something that's 20 years old. You drive something that's 40 years old. You may not have to think, but you drive different. You leave a little more of a gap. You do things a little more gently. You think about the how the mechanicals are working, and you don't maybe you don't want to strain them all the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
My wife, who did most of the driving in the Bentley, she's not that. She's a good driver, right? She's not going to crash the car. She's safe. She's a good driver,
Mm-hmm.
but she doesn't drive different in a brand new leased electric vehicle than she drives in a 30-year-old Bentley.
Uh-huh.
And so I started to go, let me build a little something around here. So I thought, okay, let's do something modern instead. And I thought, but the project of the Bentley has been really fun. We're going to sell it on Cars and Bids. Doug is going to do a video of it. We're sending it down there on Wednesday. I'm really excited to see what he says. We just did like a super detail on it, and we had another service done. So
I'm guessing he's going to say this. This is Matt Farah's Bentley.
But it's truly, I mean, seriously, spared no expense.
T-shirt
for 3 million views. So
exactly right.
And I've replaced the Bentley already, so we're driving a new car now. So.
And so it's going to be offered to somebody else.
Yes.
For a year of interesting.
I hope so. Yeah.
I think it's going to do really well. I love it too. I mean, I know when you bought it, it immediately made me go. I started looking for him that way.
Yeah.
I can see what he's up to. This is really fun.
It is really fun, and I think it is possible, not likely, but possible that I could break even.
Oh, I think you will.
Put a lot of money into the car.
You put a lot of money into it, and
Very
you
well
demonstrated how much fun you can have in a car like that. And there's somebody out there who's going to go, you know what? This is 4 years of interesting to me. Yeah. This is the type of driver I am.
And I'll tell you what, there are very few truly no stories 90s Bentleys out there.
Yeah.
And so I have every sheet of paper going back to 1990, every service record, and I have done everything, no matter how small, that it's needed.
Wow.
And it has been fun. I think it's more interesting to daily that than to daily an early 90s Mercedes product.
Right.
Or something, or an older 7 Series or something like that. I think the Bentley was better at that task.
Somebody is looking for that car.
And they're built amazingly well. It's steel and leather and wood, and the carpet is like this thick. It's just, it's so great.
Did you also buy a new Porsche?
Yeah, a new used Porsche.
What is that?
So with the Bentley project, I thought I found some value, right? I thought I could drive this really cool car for less money than it would cost me in maintenance than it cost me before to lease this mid-level electric crossover, which is about $10,000 a year. Okay. I found that $10,000 a year is the amount of money that I am comfortable with losing on a daily driver vehicle. That's where I feel okay.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like a $700 a month lease.
Right.
Or depreciation or maintenance. Right?
Or what I would lose in Vegas. Yes. And be okay.
Yeah. So I started looking at used Taycans. And I believe, based on my experience driving them all, that the ridiculous first couple of years of depreciation for Taycans, particularly post-2022 model year Taycans, after the mid-cycle update, I think the price of those cars does not reflect the value that you get from driving and owning those cars. And I think that the price reflects greater market forces more than it reflects a poor quality automobile or lack of confidence in Porsche as a company existing, right? So like Lucids aren't worth anything used because people don't think Lucid will be around, right? And other cars depreciate quickly because they're junk. The Taycan is neither of those things. It's a stable company and a very high quality product.
It's the only electric I've driven that drives like a sports car.
Right.
Aside from the Audi.
Right. Which is a platform shared vehicle with Taycan.
Right.
So anyway, we're looking around and I had Hannah drive one and I found a 2022 Taycan 4 Cross Turismo. So it's the all-wheel drive, but it's not the fast one. It's the wagon.
Yep.
It's like the Subaru Outback.
Yeah. No, I love those things. They're controversial, but I love them. I'm on that.
2.5 years old, 26,000 miles. The original MSRP was 139 grand. Loaded, like a press car loaded. I got it for 64.8.
Wow.
And so, and I have an unlimited mile CPO warranty.
Wow.
So I flew to Detroit, which is where it was, and I drove it home for 4 days. I drove home from Detroit, and it's great. It's got 18 ways. It's got bows. It's got the passenger screen. It's got glass roof. It's white, which I don't love, but with a used car, like,
does it matter?
Doesn't matter. Two-tone extended leather.
One of the rules we have for buying a car is you never do a long drive in it the first time that you drive it. Did that ruin the experience of the car?
So no, actually, I thought it was lovely. You learn a lot doing a long drive in an electric car. It's a completely different experience from doing it in a gas car. Speeding doesn't help, for instance. I sat at the cruise control at 74 miles an hour and my feet on the floor for 4 days. Didn't have to touch a pedal. And you drive, charge, sleep, drive, charge.
And what was the charging network experience like?
Very good. Actually, Porsche's route planning software, which is built into the car. I got in Detroit and I put my house in LA. And it took a little while to compute that because it's a lot of stops.
Yeah.
But it says, go to this charger and charge till you're at 81%, and go to this charger and charge for 16 minutes and go to this charge. And
there you go.
And it feels like I had my guys do like the kick-ass detail. I had my touch-up painter just do a couple little scratches and
why don't you wrap it so it's not white?
Good question. Because I need to use it as a chase vehicle for videos and I have to stick suction cups on it, it'll wreck the wrap. So what we're doing, the Taycan Cross Turismo Turbo has painted fenders. We've ordered the parts. So I'm going to do body colored, so it's not Subaru Outback. HRE is making me those wheels. They're the 522s. They look almost like the Turbo Twist. So it'll be on those wheels, and I think it'll look fabulous.
Cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
There you go. How many weeks of enjoyment will you get out of this, do you think?
Oh, dude, I suspect
52.
I suspect as a daily driver, assuming
right.
I assume years.
You've got years. 2 to 3 years of enjoyment.
I think so.
That's fantastic.
And learning because everyone's afraid of used EVs.
Right.
Nobody wants to be the guy left holding the bag when the battery dies. Right.
That's right.
So I've got a 3-year unlimited mile warranty with an option to extend by 1. You then have the 8-year 100,000 mile federal battery warranty guarantee. So, and the car's already depreciated over 50%. So I could still sell it with a year left on the warranty.
Right.
And there's still value there. So in a couple of years, and the dirty part of, environmental thing, the dirty part of an EV is building it, right? The mining of the stuff. And yes, I know electricity can come from dirty places, but fundamentally, versus a gas car, it's much dirtier to build an EV. So if you buy a used EV, you're splitting that dirty process with at least one other person.
Yeah.
And so I just want to see, like, is this fear of used EVs overblown, or can I get or is there a reason that you shouldn't buy a used EV?
Yeah.
People are always so interested in the cars that I'm buying.
Yeah.
So how do I find an interesting car that people want to learn about and where we can learn something together, but I won't learn it by being miserable at what a piece of junk it is for other people's amusement.
You want to play a game in a minute?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Well, first I'm going to talk about Acre Gold. Do you know about Acre Gold? If you don't, go to getacregold.com/spike911. There it is. This is a way to buy gold. I have gold.
Those literal gold bars.
It's literal gold bars. Don't come out of pocket for expensive gold all at once. Instead, subscribe to gold for as little as $30 a month. See those cards? That's how the gold comes in the mail.
Joe, are they exactly the size of micro SDs? Because I can think of a great way to move this gold, baby.
Pay in every month until your gold stash reaches the price of an Acre Gold bar, and then Acre discreetly ships directly to your home, which they do. It's totally discreet. Like, this thing came and it was wrapped in so much tape, I had no idea what someone was sending me. I thought it was some
Don't
sort of...
accidentally throw it away.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then I cut it open, and there was gold inside. Acre Gold has $50, $100, and $250 per month options for larger gold bars. And Acre is backed by the same team who funded Liquid Death canned water.
How many?
I gotta get one of those. Acre. Anyways, go to Get Acre Gold. GetAcreGold.com/Spike911 and sign up and start getting your gold as a hedge. As a hedge. I think they should make a Spike gold bar. I think a special Spike gold bar.
It should be a little tiny Spike head. You can't the head.
Still trying to deal with this little tiny Spike head.
What's the game?
All right, here's the game. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
I'm calling it. It's a new segment on the show. You're the first one to play it. Driven or Drivel. There it is. Driven or Drivel.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm going to just say the name of car model, and you're going to tell me if it was a real car or something I just made up.
Oh, okay. That's
all right?
Interesting. Sure.
A real car, something made up. I have 7 of them. I thought Zuckerman was going to be here. I was going to do it with both of you, but he's not here. And I guess if it's a game show, it should have a prize.
Yeah.
If you can get 4 out of the 7, let me see what I have behind me over here. Oh, you know what I have? I have Johnny's Sheffield GMT in a white dial.
Now we are talking.
Okay, here's the first model. The Gaylord Gladiator. Is it driven or drivel?
I'm going to say driven.
That is correct.
Yeah, I think that's real.
Ding, ding, there it is. The Gaylord Gladiator was conceptualized in the 1950s by James and Edward Gaylord, sons of the possible inventor of the bobby pin and the owners of Gaylord Cars.
That is, actually there's elements of the car I like.
Yeah, keep it up.
But they're arranged in the wrong order.
Yeah.
If you chopped it off at the base of the windshield and put like a Thunderbird front end on it, you'd have something there. You'd have a Thunderbird is basically what you'd have.
I have not seen a more Gaylord car than this. I mean, if you asked AI to design a car called the Gaylord Gladiator, it would probably come up with this. Like, it's just awkward looking. You know what I mean?
Front wheel arch is incredibly problematic.
All right. Well, that's the first one. You're 1 for 1. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Driven or Drivel? The Studebaker Dictator.
Drivel.
That is incorrect, sir.
There is a Dictator.
The Studebaker Dictator, not
and
the
in
best.
1937?
During the 1930s and 40s, by 37, the name had become a little, shall we say, tarnished, and Studebaker abruptly changed it to the Commander. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're 1 and 1.
Oh, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. Car number 3, driven or Drivel? The Mitsubishi Lettuce.
Drivel?
Incorrect. I'm sorry, Matt. There we cut right there. It is right there. The Mitsubishi Minica Lettuce.
I'm gonna formally protest as this is a sub trim, but go on. It's fine. All right.
You still have a chance to win Johnny's watch.
Okay.
Don't be disheartened.
It's fine.
I'm hoping Ingram is going to put some tension music under this, Ingram, and some buzzes and some dings for when you have it. Okay, here we go. The 4th car. The Proton Putrid. The Proton Putrid.
That is a real manufacturer. Why not? Driven.
Incorrect.
Oh, no.
It's the Proton Putra.
Oh.
That's right. The Proton Putra, Malay in Malaysian, I guess, means son or prince, is a front-wheel drive sports car produced by Malaysian automobile company Proton. Production of the Putra.
An Impreza and a Lancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You've got one here.
I'm out of the points. Fully out.
I don't think so. You would have to win.
I need to get them all to win.
The next 4.
Okay.
The Isuzu Pygmy XLT.
I actually think that is not a real car.
Correct. Okay. Matt Farah, you're right. The Isuzu had lots of crazy names, but not the Pygmy.
I secretly kind of want an Isuzu Via Cross, which is a terrible, terrible car, but it looks funny.
They're not still making Isuzus, are they? No.
Trucks and stuff in other countries. Yeah.
Okay, Here we go. You've got to get these last 2 right.
Okay.
To win Johnny Lieberman's Sheffield GMT. The next car is the Morris Isis. The Morris Isis.
I think that is a real car.
Correct! You are absolutely right. The Morris Isis name was briefly used by Morris Motors Limited on six-cylinder car made from 1929 to 1931. The name was discontinued in 1958. Also not to be confused with the Toyota Isis. When the terrorist group ISIS emerged in 2014, Toyota was criticized for inadvertently supplying the militant group with their trucks and was urged to change the name of that car and did. So the ISIS name has since been discontinued as of 2017.
I assume ISIS was not a bad word until
recently.
ISIS,
correct.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a business that I frequent that is on ISIS Avenue, and I just have to keep going like, ugh.
All right, here we are.
Yep.
Tension music, please, Ingram. You've got 3 correct, and you've missed 3.
Okay.
You have to win 4 out of the 7 to win Johnny Lieberman's Sheffield GMT White. So it all hangs on this last car right here. Are you ready, Matt Farah?
Yes.
Take a deep breath and relax. Here we go. The Mazda La Puta.
I think that is a real car.
You are correct, sir.
That is a real car. Yeah, that one I know. That is a real car, yeah.
You knew that one.
Yeah, I did know that one. That is a real car.
The La Puta was the flying island in Gulliver's Travel. There it is. Unfortunately, it is also a Spanish term for a prostitute.
Yes, the prostitute.
Congratulations, sir. Here, open it up and look on the back. It says GMT White. This was the second Sheffield White GMT given to Johnny Lieberman that I have taken and given away. Let's have a look at it before we go.
Very nice.
Hold it up to the camera. Very exciting. There it is. The new Sheffield White Dial GMT.
That's
Matt,
nice. Not too thick.
thank you for coming on the show. I believe that's 38 millimeters too, so that might be a nice one for Hannah.
Good one for the wife.
Good one for her with a nice.
I love
white
these rally straps though. These are fun.
And Johnny, we'll be sure to get you another one and then give it away to somebody else. Matt Farah, thank you for coming on the show, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Always good to catch up. I appreciate you reporting to us from Spain on the new GT3, where we're all very excited to hear what you have going on. And,
yeah, it's a cool car. If you liked the last one, you'll probably like this one.
Fantastic. We'll see you next week on Spike's Car Radio.